Hey, I decided to title this there an experience shared because I wanted to share and also to preserve a few thoughts about For Honor and uh, what it's been like for me as a player. Uh, Keep in mind, I'm in my 40s and I use gaming to help me deal with chronic pain. But For Honor has been almost like I don't know, one way to describe it is a game that I didn't think that I wanted to have or needed, or so to speak. It's just brought to life a lot of things and genres of myth, lore, movies, all sorts of what have you, to life in a way that I didn't quite think that I would probably experience or didn't think that gaming would create. Um, that's just my opinion. Uh, but I personally have enjoyed the Warden and the Centurion for the most part. Uh, for me, this was a game definitely that really required me to find the right character. If I didn't have the right character, it was a disaster. I originally thought I wanted to roll with the Orochi, but that didn't turn out to be the case. Um, my survivability was terrible, and for me, I like to stay alive, and I don't like dying. And when I play video games, it's you can call it what you will, but staying alive is part of the game. Is Even though dying may be considered part of the game too, staying alive is a big component for me. Um, but I noticed that playing the game was like I said, brought to life in a manner of video gaming. Um, the classic aspects of swords and armor and knights and uh, even some of the more classical aspects, like with the Centurion, embodying the aspects of the Roman soldier. Um, but a lot of people have have made a lot of interesting statements about the game, one way or the other. But true enough, the connectivity has been a little funky at times, and various different players and their behavior can be a bit antisocial to say the least. But I'm not in it for that. That's the reason why I personally prefer the player versus environment, the PVE multiplayer aspect of the game. Um, it Again, I use the gaming for to help me deal with chronic pain, so I'm not really in it for the drama. Um, it's a lot of aggro and what have you as far as the PvE is concerned. And I did try it during the closed beta. I took part in the closed and the open beta. Actually, it was the open beta that I tried the PvP, and I did well. I won, and the match I was in, and they were like good fight and all that, but I was like, no, 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 I'm not. Palms were sweating, heart was racing, and I mean, I'm sure people are in it for that, but it's a bit much for me. I get enough out of it just fighting the level 1 bots. To me, the level 1 bots are probably my favorite to deal with. I can fight level 2 bots, true, and I can. I don't think I've ever beat a level 3 bot, but I've gone toe to toe with one for a while. But um, the AI in the game, the way they program it, they adjust it periodically, and it's changed since I've played the game. And more recently, the AI tends to gang up on you more so than they used to. I don't mind the challenge. I used to live for it when I just played the Warden and the way the AI was set before season 2. But this season, the AI tends to, number one, it's an AI. It's going to decide what it decides to let you do for the most part. But with the level ones, even they volley you back and forth with attacks in a way that's very difficult to deal with, at least for me anyway. But I've gotten better, and I do believe they've sort of toned it down a little bit. But not as far as the level ones are concerned. So like trying to deal with level 2s and the way they may decide to want to gang up on you isn't it's just not worth it for me, and the amount of anxiety and stress that goes along with that, and and especially with level 3 bots. But luckily I've never played PvP, and though it's never been stated, my theory about the game is that playing PvP will increase the bot level difficulty automatically, and without you being able to tune it down or tune it up when you go to play a match of any kind. Um, the it's I've talked to a lot of people throughout the community, and and that play the game and what have you, and definitely they've concurred with that sentiment that um, playing PvP increases difficulty to bots in PvE when they go play the player versus environment. So luckily, I've only run across level 1 bots. Now, bear in mind, I have talked to one individual. They shared a screenshot with me of their profile, letting me know that they haven't played PvP, but apparently they only run across level 3 bots, and that's a horrible thing, because level 3 bots are rough. It's like anytime they basically sign up for a player versus environment match, they always get paired with level 3 bots. To me, the game would be unplayable, and I'd probably put it down. If all I ran across was level 3 bots, I'd have to figure out something. I would open a new account, whatever, contact Ubisoft or something, but that to me would be a horrible experience to deal with. Level 1 bots to me are challenging enough, especially when you deal with more than one of them. And I get to still feel confident about myself, and it, I'm not adding to any stressors dealing with my chronic pain. And video gaming is therefore enjoyable and a positive to my life situation. But that, again, is just me. Other people were very, I'm sure, in their opinion and what have you. But the level 1 bots are good enough for me. It almost pretty much ruins my day, or ruins my time when PvP people jump into PvE, and I'm doing Dominion, for example, and then all of a sudden, I'm fighting level 1 bots, enjoying myself, having a cup of coffee or whatever on the side, and then wham, level 2 bots or even level 3 bots just, start attacking me. And I mean, there's no warning in the game. There's no, hey, heads up. It's one of the things that most troubles me about the game, besides connectivity and players being antisocial with each other in a social setting, even though this is a video game. Is the rude awakening of the level 2 or level 3 bots that come in when PvPers jump into PvE. And I can understand why they might want to level up or to just take a break or whatever the situation is, but it's a rude awakening for us people who just PvE, and only prefer level 1 bots. I truly wish the game developers, programmers would set up something to give a heads up, a warning, a no penalty clause if you decide to leave the match because it'll change in the bot level. I mean, because I didn't sign up for that, so I tend to roll out of the match. I mean, there's been times where I've stuck through it when it's just been some level 2s, but it just depends on how they've got the programming set for the AI. I mean, level 2s can be different than other days, as well as level 1s. All the levels can be different depending on the manner in which they decide to program them to deal with the community. But like I said, again, it's enjoying my warden and my centurion's been the bomb. During the off season before the centurion came out, I leveled up the Valkyrie to rep 5 and Kensei to rep 2, and it actually helped me because, like I said before, the warden was the only thing that I could mess with. It just wasn't happening with other characters, and so what I did was I went ahead and like I said, found the warden and to be my strong suit. And as I gained more experience and more time with the game, I realized that trying out some other characters that I admired, like the Valkyr and Kensei, was probably good because of the manner in which they, were similar to the Warden. And luckily, like I said, it prepared me for when the Centurion came out. And it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoy combat and, back in all sorts of manners. So it's really good. It's really cool the way he's very tactile, and of course his adjustment dealing with his lower health pool, but he has benefits which can compensate for that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is just a level 0 bot just to fuck around with for a second with jibber jabbering. But one thing I can mention about the Centurion that a lot of folks haven't really talked about is the fact that, like, when you execute certain moves, you've got to me, hold the button in as a form of commitment to your action. It's not just hold the button, it's hold to commit to the, to the situation. It's like, so if I hold and commit, and then there's a move where, there it is, yeah, with the punch, for example. The punch, I feel like you got to really commit to that. You don't want to just tap it or press it. You want to really hold it to commit to the action of what the Centurion is doing. And of course you can, you don't have to hold it as long or commit to the action as much. That's just my interpretation of it. So therefore you can vary your timing to your attacks, but sincerely it's there's a commitment to what you have to do, depending on the scenario, and what you want your enemy to how they want to respond. So if I want to get a full daze or full knockdown, I've got to hold the button in to its fullest extent or full charge. I don't know, that's just my way of interpreting things. A lot of times I hear people say, hold the button or charge it, and it's like, well, I'm holding, I'm charging, and it's like, there's a full charge, there's a full release, and I refer to it as commitment to the action. Yeah, that's just it. But yeah, I mean, pretty much that's about it as far as the thoughts I wanted to share about this Centurion and my gameplay. And the fact that I just really do enjoy the game is just mad cool. I mean, it takes me back to the days when I was younger and I enjoyed the Arthurian legend, and actually read Lamont the author back in the day. Nerd time, nerd alert. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of even cool with the Centurion, how they kind of bring to life the Brad Pitt starring of Troy. We're like, we're lions. I just love it. But I'll close out with just a little duel, and if something comes to mind, I'll mention it before the end. But like I said, I just wanted to preserve my experience and my thoughts about it all, and preserve it for myself, even so I can look back on it in the coming years. Like I said, I'm in my 40s, so who knows how much longer I've got for remembering a lot of stuff. But thank you for listening, and hope you enjoy. Oh, wait a minute, this is the wrong mode. I just want to do a 1v1 duel. Oh, with PV. Oh, yeah, here we go. There we go. AI. Was I in PvP? Ooh. That was scary. I wouldn't want that. But yeah, I tend to need to focus when I'm scrapping, so I'll be quiet. But again, I hope my thoughts came through clearly and they were understood and just respected as my own. It's not necessarily a thing to argue. It's just my experience shared.
Incontinent! Victory!
Yeah, I wanted to not knock him off, but I was running out of gas. I didn't want him to start acting like a fool because he was hurt. AI gets a little funky sometimes. Oops.
Incontinent! Inferior! Incontinent!
Does it hurt? Does it hurt? Probably not. AI.
Round 3. Victory!
That's one way to win it. Maybe we just do one more. Hopefully there won't be any ledges for me to have to knock somebody off. Or if it can be a little tough. It's a little tough sometimes not to knock the AI off the ledge or an enemy. I'm sure even in PvE, PvP, excuse me, when people are fighting each other. But I mean, because I mean, you know, you never know at what point in time the tide will turn in a fight. Real life or in this game, so it's a lot of times you take the opportunity, seize the moment. So I'm gonna try to see if I can avoid that situation with that fire with this. It's just lava.
Incontinent! Victory!
Yeah, it's like if you took
Round 2.
was it Mike Tyson and made him a gladiator or something.
Incredibili! Infirmus! Etiam! Incontinent! Incontinent!
Don't hold on to that. I'll take it, thank you. Yeah, you get to talk some smack with the AI, it's fun.
Round 3.
Yeah, I know my styling isn't necessarily epic. I've got a few outfits that are a little bit more outstanding per se, but I don't know, I've got simple tastes. Yeah, this mode doesn't use gear stats, so I generally have him set up to use more stamina. Yeah, I'll take a quick show on the stats too. the way I have things set up on the way out. Got to kind of cover that point. Yeah, it was interesting too with them changing the stats of things. I think they're going to make a little adjustment to some things. So we'll see how that goes too. But it's been doable. It's not been a division or DCOO as far as changing your gear from one degree to another because of some new this, that, or the other. But it's not too bad, and it's kind of worthwhile too the way they've got it set up, going from your heroic to epic. And my theory is that they're going to, the next stage is going to be legendary, and then godlike as far as the armor tiers. That's my theory, because it seems to parallel the titling to the type of renown you get when you're fighting. But with my pretty much whether it's my warden or my centurion, these are the stats that I felt like worked the best for the way the fighting anyway. Well, the AI. I don't know about PvE. This is excuse me, PvP. This is just player versus environment. As far as player versus environment, PvE is concerned, this seems to work the best for me dealing with level 1s and even the level 2s when I fought them. But like I said, I've never won against a level 3, so I think I did once with the warden a long time ago, but don't get me to lying on that. I can't fully remember because it was such a shitty experience anytime I've come across certain level 2s and definitely level 3s. But because the aspect of this is my logic to why I have the gear stats set up the way I do, but because of the defense penetration nature of the stats, and even the bots will have some variation to these stats when they fight you. So because you can negate a person's defense to 0, and I believe they're going to come out with a change where you can have a little smidge more if you're totally spec into defense, but whatever. To me, I'm not sure how much that little bit's going to help you survive after a certain point of damage. But the point is that not to fall into the negative of defense was the main goal for this situation. So it's, you can set up defense across your armor, and so like as you can tally the numbers there, I'm still in the positive of the defense. What I did notice is that the stamina regeneration, when you have stamina, seemed to be sufficient as far as mediating most fight situations. So I do a pretty decent job with not running out of stamina. So because the centurion needs, does a lot of sort of setting up to deliver the heavy hitting blows to really defeat your enemy quickly. Having a very low stamina cost to what I do, or having a very high positive cost reduction, was very helpful to maintain a good bit of stamina while going through all the movements and jousting around of your opponent you have to do before you deliver your blows. Well, certain blows anyway. Now the reason why I did the exhaustion recovery being the most important trait for the helmet was because with exhaustion recovery, if you run across an opponent that's going to knock your stamina out of you, or if you run out of stamina, you need to get stamina back sooner than later. And you want to have also too a high debuff resistance. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. For my helmet, the debuff resistance is actually the highest, is the primary. I do wish when they come out with this adjustment to the stats, and also to the way they're illustrated, that they give some kind of highlight of what is the primary and secondary stat. It used to be obvious, but now it isn't. But yeah, the debuff resistance is actually the primary stat, because I wanted that as high as possible, because when you get stunned, or you get on the bleed effect, you want that to be at a minimal, in my personal opinion, for the way I like to fight. or within the game. Um, revenge mode duration was not a a big point because frequency of duration seemed to be frequency of the revenge mode seemed to be to me a better priority, because revenge mode defense is very high, um, and because when you're in revenge mode, you want to be able to get away, or you want to be able to fight effectively, and with fighting with the AI anyway, you're getting hit, and when you least expect it, and it's the AI is not stupid about how to manage you or to negotiate their distance from you when you're in revenge mode, and the AI kind of goes ballistic a little bit actually when you go into revenge mode. So, to me, having a high revenge mode defense was really important, um, and so again, the frequency of the revenge gained, and you get those aspects in your weapon. So revenge gained was very important. For that for that, and attack is secondary as far as on the guard of the weapon, because for me, I notice when you're getting outnumbered far more than you used to, and you want to be able to have that advantage as soon as possible. um, you know Revenge mode attack, I never felt like that was necessary to kill an enemy, to be honest with you. That's the reason why I didn't even worry about the stat, and I haven't regretted it. The hilt, the way it's set up, the primary is attack on that. Execution health regen is secondary because sometimes you're lucky if you can get that off, and revive speed to me is sufficient because if you've got the time to revive somebody, you got the time. If you don't have the time, then trust me, you don't have the time. You need to make sure you negotiate your environment and where the enemies are and who could likely come up on you while you're trying to help somebody. But defense penetration, I went ahead and made that the primary to go ahead, and the reason why it's like at the moment higher than what anybody's defense could be, and luckily you can't lower someone's defense below 0, but the defense penetration is more to deal with an AI if I'm dealing with a level 2 that goes into revenge mode, and to cut through their defense of the revenge modes, because the revenge mode defense is a very high stat. So to me, I'd want to have as much to cut through that as possible. I'm not worried about block damage because I'm not worried about, hitting someone's block. Because if I've hit someone's block, then most likely I did something somewhat wrong to a degree. Because if they were able to block it, then they could possibly be able to parry it or counterattack it. And I regard that in regard to the AI as well. So that's the reason why all that's set up the way it is. But yeah, that was a brief explanation on all my stats and why I do them the way I do. Like I said, I want to try to preserve some of this for my own peace of mind. And as far as the feats on the Centurion anyway, I found that the bounty hunter was very advantageous, because a lot of times I found it easier not to fret about how you take something out depending on your scenario, but the fact that you do take it out, so to be in the moment and to do what's necessary to defeat the enemy. And the bounty hunter helps me with that without having to worry about getting off an execution for the extra stamina and health. But I still do go for that if I can. And then Haymaker is just priceless. The fact that you can now deal damage with your punches, kicks, and throws is passive. This is just a priceless feat for him. And then second wind, to me, I like the health. Typically, this one's another good one too. The sharpened blade is pretty cool, but at the same time, survivability is key for me anyway. Because I don't like dying, and I haven't felt like I've needed sharpened blade to kill an enemy if I'm doing things properly. But definitely, if things don't go well in some kind of way, shape, or form, or I get blindsided by an enemy AI or something, then the second win has been extremely helpful. And the phalanx is just priceless when it comes to the Centurion as well, because it provides a shield throughout the entire team. No matter where they are on the map, and that's just awesome. And what's nice is, to me, it pairs really nicely with the Warden, and the way I play the Warden anyway, with the final the feat here, the morale booster, improves damage for you and your allies for a short duration. So, like if you were to combine that with the Centurion's ability, that's just the bomb diggity. But yeah, this is my Warden, by the way, and like I said, my stats are set up the same because for me, the gameplay and the manner that I would use the Warden is pretty much the same for the most part with the Centurion. These are the kind of looks I was going for with the Warden. Wanted to kind of do a Sons of the Apollyon type thing. That's just me role playing. Nerd alert, nerd alert. But yeah. Anywho, yeah, I think that's all I can think about that I'd want to cover. Again, thank you for listening. This game is really cool.